Who is watching me? The mystery of multiple consciousness within you. While we appear to live as a single self, multiple consciousnesses actually coexist within us. Among these, the other, I, that observes me, the so-called observer consciousness, is the existence closest to the core of the soul, and represents a higher perspective that connects directly to universal consciousness. In other words, the ego we think of as I is merely the tip of the iceberg, and our true self is the being that constantly watches us in silence. From ancient times to the present, the existence of multiple consciousness and the observer has been discussed repeatedly in Eastern philosophy and religion, psychology, and even the latest neuroscience. Buddhism calls it consciousness vijnana. Hinduism refers to it as Atman. Western psychology terms it metacognition, and in spiritual contexts it's known as the higher self, all describing the same phenomenon in different languages. When one begins to notice the existence of this observer, they embark for the first time on a journey to discover what the true self really is. By viewing the everyday ego from a step back, one touches the quiet, infinite space that expands within oneself. Specific examples. 1. The moment of noticing yourself thinking. Haven't you ever noticed your own thoughts? Thinking, I'm thinking about this right now. This is evidence that the self that thinks and the self that observes it exist separately. This means you have at least two layers of consciousness within you, the thinking self and the aware self. 2. Meeting the silent witness in meditation. When entering a deep meditative state, as thoughts and emotions settle, you may feel that something simply exists. There is a presence there that has no judgment or story, simply watching over everything. This is the observer's perspective, the silent witness, and touching it brings deep peace and a sense of unity with the universe. 3. Perspective shifts in dissociative states and near-death experiences. Some people report seeing themselves from above during traffic accidents. Intense trauma or near-death experiences consciousness floating outside the body. This is evidence that consciousness has shifted from its usual body-centered state to the observer. The closer one approaches the boundary of death, the more they tend to return to their true self non-material existence. 4. Research on multiple personality and trance states. In psychiatric practice, there are cases where completely different personalities alternate within the same body due to dissociative identity disorder. This phenomenon suggests that consciousness is divided into multiple layers and levels. In shamanism and the world of mediums, there are those who communicate with consciousnesses other than their own and serve as conduits. This proves that our sense of self is not merely a single entity, but a more complex and multi-layered conscious being. Conclusion. Within you exists not only the I that lives daily life, but also another I that quietly observes it. This observer is the core of your soul, the gateway connecting to the universe, and the key that opens the path to awakening and enlightenment. Understanding this multiple consciousness liberates you from suffering and confusion, bringing true freedom and creativity to your life. Who is I? When you face this question head-on, you will meet your true self for the first time. Close your eyes quietly and listen to the observer within. In that silence, all answers exist.